Welcome to another edition of MrCross.org, and this is a training tutorial on Google Applications. We're working with part 3 of that series, and today we're going to cover how to do some insert functions in particular with Google Applications. So we're going to open a document that I've actually already saved called Super Cool Document, and it's going to open up in a new tab for me right here, and it looks like it's a paper, and it looks like it's been copied out of Wikipedia, and we're probably going to make some comments about that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can edit this document and do some cool things with it. So let's go ahead and start. I've got this document. It's really nice, but it doesn't have a image or anything like that in it, so I'm going to go ahead and do insert image. Now this is very much like say Microsoft Word and how I can actually insert the image. However, they have one really cool thing. I can upload it from a computer, I can upload it from the URL, or I can do Google image search, which is really cool. And in this case I'm doing Liger, so I'm going to actually look for a Liger and do search images. Now you have to be careful with all of this, because when you're using images off of Google Images, some of them may be copy protected. So you have to kind of be a little careful with that, and it'll tell you right here that only selected images that you have confirmed you can use legally are the right things to do. So just make sure you know that and know the law. I'm going to go ahead and just click select here, and it's going to actually put the image into my document, and it's taking it a second because it's actually loading it into the document. But there we go, I've got the picture and I've got my document behind it. And the position right now is in line. That means it's the image is here, but the text is going to start at the end of the image. I also like to think of this inline as this image is actually a character of text in itself. It's just a bigger one. If I click on fixed, I can now have it have the text wrap around it, which is often a little bit more handy. If I go back to inline, you'll see that it's maybe not the way I would do my document. So I prefer this one. For whatever reason, it's always defaulted the other way. I've never understood that. Okay, so that's how you insert an image. Pretty simple. Once your image is inserted, you can shrink it. You can make it fit in there so it's real nice and pretty, and that's what we've done. Alright, let's go ahead, and at the very bottom of this document I'm going to insert another command, insert link. And this is a way I can actually insert a link to another website, or to an email, or to a bookmark. I can do a few different things here, and the text that's going to be displayed is whatever you want it to say. So I can say this is a great website for learning, and I'm going to hit enter there, and then I'm going to go ahead and go down to what the URL should link to. Now this would be the web address. This, for instance, is the web address, and it's in this bar here. So if you don't know what that is your URL, or your web address. And I know mine by heart, so I'm going to go ahead and type it in there. It's MrCross.org, and there it goes. Don't worry if your URLs get underlined with the little red squigglies. That's a spell check feature, and usually the URLs are going to trigger that, but it's all spelled correctly. Now this says here that I'm going to link it to a web address, and indeed MrCross.org is a web address. If I wanted it to be an email address, I could link it to Mr. Cross at MrCross.org, for instance, and that would link it to an email address. Or I can link it as a bookmark, and there's no bookmarks in this document currently, so we'd have to actually create one to actually link it to it, but that's how you would do it. I'm just going to do that web address, and I'm going to click OK. We'll get into the bookmarking a little bit later. And so there it goes. It says this is a great website for learning. If I click on it, it's going to say go to link MrCross.org. I can change that link, or I can remove it altogether. So that would be your insert link command. Alright, math buffs are going to love this one. You can go to insert equation, and when you insert equation, you get a new little bar that pops up, and this bar has different options. And I, not being a math genius, do not know all of these functions and what they do. Hopefully if you're in a calculus class or such a thing, you'll know exactly what all of this stuff is. And I'm just going to go ahead and highlight a couple and show you that you can put different characters in here, and you can the ones that have the X for the A over B, you can specify what those are. All kinds of different little things different little symbols. I'm going to make them bold and I'm going to make them big so you can see them there. We basically created a bunch of symbols that could not have been created without the aid of that tool. So the equation editor is great. Microsoft Word does have an equation editor in it. Sometimes it's hard to find, and sometimes maybe you didn't install when you installed your software package. This is really handy because it's just right there. So students, another great thing for you to use. Alright, let's go ahead and go to Insert Drawing. This is a relatively new feature, but I can actually put a drawing into my document. Now, I'm going to do something very simple right now. If you are to watch some further training videos, I'll actually show you some more in-depth drawing skills. This is just a basic thing. And drawing is just what it says. I can make some shapes. I can draw some lines from those shapes. I can connect them to other shapes. I can move them around. I can do all kinds of things. So I can make flow charts. I can just scribble. I can, I can do all kinds of things. It's like Microsoft Paint, basically, just built right in there. And when I hit save and close, it's going to insert that right into my document. And notice how quick all this is happening. This is all online. This is a great, great feature. Alright, that is drawing. Now I'm going to go ahead and do insert, and I'm going to do comment. And this time I'm actually going to go up to the top, and I'm going to highlight that, for instance, and I'm going to say insert comment, and it's going to put a little box over onto the side, and this is highlighted, and I can now put in a comment that's tied to that word. And my comment is going to be, I had no idea there were ligers. And when I click out of there, that comment is stored in the right hand side, and liger has a little tiny little real light yellow contrast to it. That's not going to print unless you tell it to, but when I click on that light color, it's going to highlight which comment goes to which box over here on the side. So if I get another one, I'm going to do species here, and I'm going to insert comments, and I've got another box, and I would type something in. I can do cats. I'm going to say insert comment. Now I've got a bunch of different comments, and you can see they're just stacking, but when I click on species, it highlights that one. When I click on liger, it highlights that one. So you can see how comments could be used, say, to work with other documents. The beauty of it is that documents are shared. So if you have a document from somebody else, you're going to be able to comment on that document, and they're going to be able to see those comments. So it's great for a teacher who is working with files that students have worked with. It's really easy to use. You can print them. You don't have to print them. And later on, I'll show you how you can see a revision history, which is really going to give you a detailed report of kind of what changes have been made and who's done it. So that's going to be kind of a fun thing. All right. Last thing I'm going to comment on here before I call this video an end is I'm going to do what's called a footnote. And I'm going to say insert footnote. And when I do, I get the little pound symbol that comes up right there. Hopefully you can see that. And over on the side, it gives me a place to write my footnote. And I'm just going to type, this is a footnote on 1825. So if there's some additional information that needs to be said, you would make your footnote, and there's all sorts of different grammatical rules about that, but you're going to click on it, say insert footnote, and it's going to create the footnote over here on the side. That's different than Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word would have actually at the bottom of your sheet put your footnote in there. This is a little different, but I like it because the footnote, you can see it's tied right to the image. It's real close, or not image, but the word that you were footnoting. It's real easy for you to tell that belongs there. When you print, however, it's going to look just like Microsoft Word, and the only way I can show it to you is save file, and I'm going to do a print preview. And when I do, it's going to load a print preview of my document. It's going to show it to me, and it's going to take a second because it's doing it's kind of processing the actual final image of the document. And here it comes up, and so I've got my picture, I've got my text, I've got my, this is a great website for learning. 1825 has a little number 1 after it, and down here it says this is a footnote on 1825, so you can see it actually placed my footnote in. The print preview also has separated my document into the pages for me, so it's going to do that. Alright, in the later parts of the next video, we're going to actually cover the rest of these characters in Insert, and then in the following video I hope to do the formatting tools, and then we'll also get into what views do, and we'll look at all the different ways you can view your document. So I hope you enjoy this video on MrCross.org tutorials, and be sure to check out my website for all the upcoming videos that I'm going to have, and this year there's going to be a lot of them, and I thank you once again.